What is going on, everyone? Welcome to day 28 of the Halloween Horror 3. For day 28, I figured I would share with you guys my top 5 favorite horror films. So let's get right into it. Starting off with number 5, we have Shocker, Wes Craven's Shocker. This movie I felt like could have done a little bit more than what we had. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the premise of it, I love the idea of our main villain here kind of, using electricity to travel and things like that. But I feel like they could have expanded more on that and could have potentially left off for a sequel of some sort, and really could have been a character in some way similar to Freddy, and then maybe do a crossover film. That would have been pretty cool. But unfortunately, we did not get that. And I feel like that was a missed opportunity. The story in here, I think, is decent, but I feel like there could have been more that could have been expanded on. And at times, it does become a slow burn, but it's still a really good film. And I feel like it's very underrated when it comes to Wes Craven's filmography of some sort. So yeah, that's number 5. At number 4, we have Dolly Dearest. So as we all know, the 80s and 90s had a lot of killer doll films, and then of course, Child's Play being the well popular one out of the series. But this one, I feel like definitely is underrated and should be up there in some way. And another horror film that could have potentially left off for a sequel of some sort or a franchise. And the interesting thing about this one is that it's not dealing with, somebody transferring their soul. They're actually dealing with an actual demon possessing a female doll that was part of this factory of some sort. So there are some similarities with Child's Play, but the fact that you have an actual demon possessing a doll, I think it makes the story a little more terrifying than, say, somebody using voodoo to transfer their soul into a doll like they did with Child's Play. And this one, it's a slow burn. You really are not sure what's going on, and when you do see the character, show who they are, I feel like it adds more fear and intensity or whatever the heck it's called. When you do see this character, it gets more intense. I feel like, because unlike the Child's Play films, where he eventually, states who he is, and reveals that he's a talking doll and whatever. I feel like this one really captures what Child's Play should have had done. It was really minimize, being exposed that, yeah, this doll is possessed and things like that. So I feel like it works. It's a early 90s horror film, 91. But yeah, it doesn't get talked about, and it's extremely underrated. At number 3, we have The Gate. I feel like The Gate doesn't get talked about much. I remember watching this so many times growing up. It's not your typical, like, 80s, horror film where it's like you have your gory moments or anything like that. It's more toned down, but in a way, I still find it to be extremely creepy, and there are a few, like, scares. I feel like, a little few jump scares that will get to you, but I definitely give the creators credit when it comes to the story, and the effects on this. I feel like are really good. Yeah, they're cheesy now looking back, but at the time, I feel like they really did a great job, and the appreciation is definitely there. But the Gate has always been unique because you're set in one location, and I've always enjoyed horror films to some extent if it has a great story being isolated, because it really, really plays on the claustrophobic and things like that. And this one definitely, I feel like, works in that way. So yeah, not one that gets talked about, unfortunately, like a lot of horror films. and to me, I feel like it's underrated compared to the second movie. But yeah, definitely one I love revisiting all the time. At number two, we have, of course, The Lost Boys. It's a classic. I've always enjoyed the vampire mythology, and what they do with this one is pretty unique. Things don't really start getting going until closer to the end of the movie when they all have to team up to take out, David and his group. And then the way they, take out these vampires are very unique in their own way, which I do like. Now, the sequels, they're kind of a hit and miss with a lot of people. I feel like they could have gone in a different direction. Even if we got a sequel so late in the game, I feel like there could have been a better way to do it. I love the characters in this. I feel like they could have expanded more a little bit on some of them. Like Max, I wanted to know more about Max's background. The actress who plays the woman that Michael and Sam's mom works with. There was, I think, from what I had seen, she was supposed to be like a vampire of some sort, or could possibly be a vampire. It was a character they didn't really explore, which I wish they would have. But by now, everyone has seen this. It's just a downright classic. I mean, I wish I could say more about it, but by now everyone has seen it, and we can't go wrong with the score. That's the one thing I love about specific horror films, and not just horror films, action films, sci-fi. You always have that great score that really makes the movie, and when you think of it, you know what movie exactly. You know exactly what movie it's from. We all know Star Wars. Lost Boys has one. Um, Phantasm, Child's Play. They all have great scores, and I feel like a lot of movies need that. There needs to be there needs to be that one specific score that really makes the movie and fits perfectly. And of course, The Lost Boys definitely has that. And then my number one all-time favorite is Fright Night. The great thing I love about Fright Night is that, and I apologize for the glare, is that they're taking the Boy Who Cried Wolf story and using the vampire mythology and, making minor changes and having this character trying to convince people that his neighbor is a vampire, and nobody believes him. So, I've always enjoyed that. I like the fact that, again, like, the gate where the film takes place in almost like one location, Fright Night does as well in some fashion. They do explore more in the movie. They're not explore more, but it doesn't take place in one location up until at least the end. But a lot of the majority of the movie takes place between this, Jerry's house and Charlie's house. So I do like that, somewhat of that small little atmosphere, and just the performance by Chris Sarandon, playing Jerry is just absolutely amazing. He's charming, but in a very creepy but non-creepy way. Knows enough to play who he's talking to kind of convince them, but does it in such a delicate and, like I said, creepy way where it doesn't seem like it, or it may play mind tricks with you. Just works really, really well. And I think everybody who was part of this movie did a fantastic job. Um, Everybody knows the story of the boy who cried wolf, and to take that and then, some way interpretate it into something horrifying, you know, I think it's pretty great, and it's always been my number one film. I remember back in the day as a kid when this movie would come on, like TBS and TNT and stuff, I'd watch it. Same with part two. And part two, it got to that point where part two wasn't getting aired as much as it used to, but that's how I grew up with a lot of horror films, was because TBS and TNT and a few other broadcast channels, playing Halloween, playing Friday the 13th. It was how I got into a lot of these older horror films. The Lost Boys. I think the first time I watched The Lost Boys was through TBS when they used to do the dinner, movie and a dinner or something like that back in the day. And that's how I got into The Lost Boys and how it became one of my all time favorites. So, Fright Night was kind of the same way. One of those channels aired it one year, and I sat down and watched it and had been hooked ever since. So, thank you guys so much for tuning to day 28 of the Halloween Horror 3, and thank you guys for tuning in to my top 5 favorite horror films. Would love to hear what your top 5 favorite horror films are down in the comment section below. Don't forget to give this video a like, it's much appreciated. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content, and I have a slew of other videos you guys can check out on the channel, so it helps me out if you guys take the time out, watch my videos. But with that being said, I'm Film Talk with Mikey. Till next time, guys, we'll talk films. You have a good one, take care, and I will see you soon.